Bibi Fahodier, Black family. Bibi Fahodier. This is my first attempt at using StreamYard. So bear with me as I get my grounding. But I wanted to go live today. If you out there, send me a race first, a Bibi Fahodier. Let me know you out there. Let me know you hear me, so we can get this thing rocking and rolling. So this is my first attempt using StreamYard, but I wanted to go live today, and it is my plan to make it a regular thing for Baba Imhotep to come speak to the people on various topics. This particular platform, I'm trying to build it up, this YouTube channel, School of Urban Philosophy. So if you can, please subscribe, share, and comment. Let's get it in. So brutal truth, what is brutal truth? So brutal truth is, for me, brutal truth becomes the capacity to deliver a message straight up, straightforward, and straight to the point. As African people, Black people within the United States of America, we must develop that particular capacity. So tonight, what I want to do is I want to talk straight to you from my heart about a topic that we hear this topic a lot. And the topic is blaming white people. We oftentimes hear people say, well, Black people want to blame white people, or those conscious people want to blame white people, or, the woke community want to blame white people. And this is my response to that. Technically, when you blame something on someone, you blame something on someone, it really means that what you are saying that person may have done, that he or she may not necessarily have done it. That's really what blaming is. But if we as a people are developing the capacity to identify what white people have done to us historically and contemporaneously, that's not blaming. I think it's wise. I think it's very wise for us to perpetually acknowledge white people for who and what they are. I think it's wise to do that. But let me be very clear. I'm not saying that we as a people do not have unique and specific responsibilities that we need to execute. We do. But I don't want us to always think and default to the thinking that because we are identifying the role of white people, that we are trying to say that Black people don't have any responsibility. The two don't go together. So I want us to stop thinking that way. Because when we identify what they have done, they have raped, robbed, murdered, stole, and killed. They have done that, right? When you look at their history, this is what they have done. This is who they are. So when we talk about that, that's not the equivalent of saying that we don't have responsibilities. And I don't want us to keep on putting that in the same context or in the same vein, because it don't mean the same thing. If I want to talk to Black people or African people about what our unique responsibilities are, then we'll have that conversation. But anytime a Black activist, a Black revolutionary, a Black nationalist, Pan-Africanist, whatever you choose to call yourself, anytime such a person steps forward to make an accurate analysis of the role of white people in the destruction of Black lives, that's not saying, and it doesn't mean that individual or those individuals do not recognize the responsibilities that Black people have to execute themselves. It has nothing to do with it. Nothing to do with it. But historically, white people have executed nothing but white terrorism, white terror. They are very violent people. Very, very violent people. Everything about their way is violent. When you watch them, when you read their history, when you study them, you'll see nothing but violence. And And ever since we have encountered white people, we have encountered nothing but aggression. Nothing but aggression. Now, this particular analysis that I'm making is based on an historical behavior, a collective behavior over time. Excuse me. And we have to be able to see that as a people. It's time for us to think about who we are and what it is that we should be doing. So I wanted to start off by just putting that out there, because oftentimes when we go into trying to have a dialogue or conversations concerning the upliftment and the advancement of African people, we always have someone coming in saying, well, stop blaming the white man, or no one told the black person to pick up a gun, or no one told you to use drugs, or no one told you to sell drugs. We use these white arguments that are really, really invalid arguments, because you don't have to tell a person to do anything. You can suggest it and you can imply it. And not only that, you can create the conditions that can motivate the behaviors, to execute these things. If you know anything about human growth and development, human expansion, if you know anything about, behavior modification, if you know anything about subliminal suggestion, that these things are real. So you don't have to come out and say, go sell dope. You can create a situation where a person is systematically deprived and then put dope in that environment, and dope can become a means through which a person can generate some finances. And that person, in most instances, not all, but in most instances, that person may be inclined to pick the dope up and sell the dope. So you're correct. No one says sell dope. No one says carry a gun. But if you dump a bunch of guns into an environment and then deprive the people there of basic necessities, what do you think they're going to do with the guns? So the arguments that we use against one another are white arguments. And these arguments have been put forth by white people who have been trying to escape responsibility for their role in our destruction. They're trying to escape responsibility for their roles in our destruction. And we can't be so naive to allow them to escape. Now, I'm not insinuating that we need them for anything. I'm saying we're not going to let them escape their role in our destruction and place it on us and have us critiquing and over-penalizing the victims. We can't fall for that. We can't allow that to go down that particular way. We have to be very clear about what's taking place, what's happening with our people. Awareness is very important. It's very important that we be aware. It's very important that we be aware. It's very important that we embark on a path of opening up self-knowledge. It's very important that we go after that. And there is no self-knowledge devoid from your culture. You can't get self-knowledge and don't have culture. It's a totally impossibility. Now, I'm not associating self-knowledge with intellect, because you can develop intellect and don't have culture, don't have your culture. You can develop intellect because the intellectual development also springs forth out of some form of culture. So you can have the enemy's culture and develop intellectually, but intellect doesn't translate into self-knowledge. You can be intellectual but have no connection to your people, and therefore you won't use your intellect in the best interest of your people. So I'm not equating intellect with self-knowledge. Self-knowledge is the identification with your inherent potential linked to a historical and a cultural group of people. If you are linked to something, so that's your self-knowledge. When you understand that you exist as an individual born of a community, born of a collective, therefore you must think and behave in the capacity of a collective. That's the kind of knowledge that we need. We need knowledge that's going to ground us in the best of who we are and show us how we must move forward. That's the kind of knowledge that we need, not just European intellect, not just a bunch of academics. Like academics is universally superior. It has its benefits, but we have to be engaged in what I like to determine as being some type of cultural renaissance. Like, we have to be engaged in the pursuance of uncovering and discovering. And once we do those two, uncover and discover our true history and culture, we must put that to practice. Because you don't stand in the world devoid of culture. Like, there is no place that you can stand where you're not standing within a culture. The question becomes this: whose culture are you standing within? Are you standing within your culture? Are you standing within Chinese culture, Japanese culture, or European culture? Because you cannot stand in this particular world in a cultural, neutral, empty zone. It does not exist. And the less you know about your culture, the further off the mark you are. The less you know about your culture, the further off the mark you are. And the more confused you are about your culture, the closer to insanity you are. See, our insanity is linked to the intensification of confusion, and the confusion is the lack of culture. The lack of culture. Culture is so underrated. It's so pushed to the side because so many people are chasing money that they think that culture has no relevance, has no bearings. It's totally insignificant. They can care less about culture. I'm chasing money. I'm trying to pay bills, and I'm trying to get the latest things. But that way of thinking doesn't fall out of the sky. You don't think that way from nothing. Even that way of thinking is linked to culture. It's just not your culture. The ideas and the ideals that you house within your mind doesn't come from nowhere. They are generated within a culture. They're generated within a culture. There's a link, a divine link between culture and consciousness. Culture and consciousness are linked. You can't have culture and consciousness separate one from the other. So whatever is rolling around inside your head, whatever you're thinking, whether it's sane or insane, whether it's on point, off point, is linked to a culture. It's linked to a culture. You don't have nothing that's in the sphere of being a human being that's devoid of culture. Nothing. The way you smell and sense the things that you like, all is tied to culture. Your preference is culture. Your attitude is culture. None of that stuff is linked from culture, disconnected from culture. It's all linked to culture. And that's the reason why we have to push African culture. It has to come back. It has to come back. And every time we see somebody that's attempting to throw a dart, take a shot, or do anything that's destructive and harmful to our culture, we got to rise up as cultural warriors and defend the culture. Because that's all that's going on out here. Is people are pushing their culture everywhere. That's what you have. People are pushing their culture, making their culture the way. And the more you don't know yours, the more you do what? The more you conform to other people's culture. Even those of us out here trying to find some type of spiritual grounding, we're chasing culture. We're chasing culture. You don't realize that we say it's not culture. We say religion is not culture. It's just my religion. How can you have religion devoid of culture? How? If you're chasing a religion. I don't chase religion. Whether you're chasing Catholicism, Christianity, Islam, Buddhism, whatever you want to call it, right? You're chasing culture. And when you adopt that religion, you adopt the culture of the people who gave birth to the religion. Okay, what the religion is. The moment you put that religion on, you put on their cultural garbs. And the deeper you go into the religion, the further you go away from your culture. Now, we may say, well, that's not true, Baba Imhotep. Because our people started all these religions. You know what I'm saying? Islam is an African religion. Christianity is an African religion. We'll say things like that without actually having done any really serious research or studying to know the truth. And I understand why we say it. We say it because our argument is based on this here. Well, all the basic tenets in Islam, this is what we say. I'm not saying this, I'm quoting us. All the basic tenets of Islam came out of Africa. So therefore, it's an African religion. That's not true. That's not true. Just because something derives from a particular place, it doesn't make it that thing once it has been modified, right? Once it has undergone significant modifications in the term of transmutation, it's no longer that thing. Now, it may have some residual aspects, yes, but the transmutation of the thing indicates that it's no longer the same thing. So I don't care nothing about the fact that our brothers and sisters, our African people, were the first who came up with these basic spiritual concepts. That's true. We originated the concepts, but the way in which these concepts have migrated out of Africa and have taken on different dynamics and different aspects and have transformed, that's not African. What Islam is what Islam is. What Christianity is what Christianity is. Simple as that. And let them have what they have. We don't have to always try to claim their stuff. Let them have it. Let them have it, because the deeper you go into your own stuff, you'll realize that you already have the purity. You have the pristine, because you have the spiritual practice. You have the systems of spirit living. That's what we have in Africa. You have that, and that's what you have to go and get. You have to be on a process, a journey, a quest to get back home. A metamorphically home, philosophically home, spiritually home. That's what this is about. It's about Sankofa. To Sankofa is to be in a perpetual journey of returning home. Why? To go and dive in, to bathe in, and to shower in the best of what your ancestors laid down in your motherland. That's what this is about. That's what this is about. So we don't got to keep on trying to claim it. Let them have that stuff. Because our way is not a way of proselytizing. And that crap is always trying to proselytize. They say they don't, but they do. The moment that a person tells you that what you believe in and what you're doing is wrong, that person is trying to proselytize you. Especially if they tell you that what you're doing is wrong and what they're doing is right, they're trying to proselytize you. We've never done that. There is no record of African people running around the world, robbing, stealing, maiming, killing, and enslaving people in the name of Chukwu, Pata, Olodumare, Anyame. You can't find that. But you can find the Crusades, which was what? Christian religious wars. You can find the Inquisition, the Catholics. You can find jihads, Islam, and you can go on. You can find it. So let them have that. Let them have that. Let's get back to what's ours. Let's get back to what's ours. You got to do the work, black man and black woman. You got to do the research. You got to do the studying. You got to do those things. There is no way around it. We can't skip around. Excuse me. We can't avoid doing the studies. And I know we want to get it past doing the studies. We say things like, oh, man, we do too much read, man. Let's just get some work done. You can't figure out a problem if you're unwilling to study the problem. You're not going to get a solution. This crap that we're in, it requires the best of our thinking. And that's the reason why. And I know a lot of people jump down on Du Bois, his talented 10th, with Du Bois's talented 10th comes from Alexander Crummell. If you go and study Alexander Crummell, you'll see that he was already thinking in terms of trying to bring together, if I'm not mistaken, he wanted to bring together 40 talented, high-functioning men to produce, quality work across the board, publications, journals, programs, you name it, because he recognized and realized how deep and how complex the subjugation, exploitation, and oppression of African people is. He realized how deep it is. It's not something that requires a band-aid. It's not that. And I know we believe it is. You know, so that's the reason we say things like, man, I'm ready to move, I'm ready to do something. You will get your whole head snatched off our head if you don't have any type of ideological direction. If you don't understand what's going on, you're going to perpetuate the situation, because these Europeans have been thorough and they have been experts in the capacity of disorientating a people. They have disorientated us. They have embedded confusion into us. They have derailed us. They have done it all to us. So we're not in our best thinking. And this is the reason why when you look into our communities, you see us kind of infighting. You see our organizations falling apart. You see the marriage, you see the black man and the black woman falling apart. You see all the online fighting going at each other. You know why? Because the Europeans put that in us, right? They created that inside of us. They implanted that condition into us. And so now we're doing everything under the sun to destroy each other, to not to support each other, to not rock with each other, to not roll with each other, to not hold each other up, to not to defend each other, right? They have created that. So it's not so simple to keep on saying, oh, I'm ready to move, I'm ready to do something, right? Yes, we're going to move, we're going to do something, no doubt. But we got to be skilled at this. We need the best of us to get this work done. We don't need a bunch of incompetent people who all you have is some rage inside of you. That ain't enough. If your rage having went through stages and now it's refined and righteous, it's no good for us. It's no good. We need righteous rage. We need it confined and refined and channeled at the right things, right? If you don't have that, it's no good. We need some serious people out here that's going to do some serious work. And that requires us studying it. It requires us coming back home in our minds. We have to get rid of all the crap that he put inside of us. Just get rid of it. Just be in the process of intellectual, cultural, moral, psychological purging. Purge everything you can possibly purge that you have picked up in this land. Because we don't need their way to make it. We got examples. We don't need their way. We tell ourselves we need their way. We don't need their way. We just need us to know our own way. That's it. Just need us to know our own way and know that we are the best thing that ever happened to this world. That's all you need to know. The best thing that ever happened to this world. We lay the foundation. We set the tone. We make the music. We are the rhythm in the world. We are the vibrancy. We are the blue notes. That's who we are. The blue notes. Embrace it. Embrace blackness. Embrace blackness. Don't be afraid of it. Don't let these people come out here with these made up theories and talk about, black is no good, man. That's bull crap. If you know anything about real science and not necessarily white science, if you want to use science, go back to how your ancestors thought. What did they see in blackness or darkness? They saw potentiality. They saw creativity. The Mythite theology, ancient Kemet, go study it. It starts in darkness. Starts in darkness, and everything else came out of the darkness. Get it together, black man and black woman. Black is beautiful. We absorb the energies. We're vibrant. We rock with the universe. You know why? Because we are the universe. We are the universe. The universe manifested itself by manifesting us. That's who we are, black man and black woman. But back to the topic at hand. And then if those of you out there who have tuned in, if you have any questions, any comments, please put your comments in the question area, or you can put your questions or your comments. Let's get it in. This is the brutal truth. I don't plan to be here long. I wanted to talk briefly to set the tone, and then you can put yours to the floor, because this is how we're going to carry it going forward on this school of urban philosophy. We're going to go straight to the core, hardcore, because we're not having it no more. We're not going to have it anymore. That's what this is about. It's we in the era time now where we're going to do what? We are going to resurrect, redeem, and restore what it means to be black in the world. We're not going to hold our head down, and we're not going to apologize for saying that we are black. And we're not going to let nobody tell us, well, black doesn't connect you to no land. So how you black? That's not a nationality. Do you not know that nationality is a European creation? We don't have to subscribe to nothing that they created. Who are they to tell us how to define ourselves? That's what's wrong with us. We subscribe to too much of them. We give them too much power. Who are they to tell us how to define ourselves? We say what black links us to. I say black links me to Africa. Who are they to say that it doesn't? Who gives them that type of power? I sure don't. Do any of you? And that's the problem. You can't free yourself as long as you subscribe to the definitions, the classifications, and the categories and the labels that your oppressors and your enemies have created, because they create the classifications, the definitions, the categories, and the labels to incarcerate you psychologically and conceptually. So as long as you're going to consistently adhere to them, you are locked. I can care less about what they say. Black means Africa. Africa is first. Black is first. Black is the original. Listen to what I say. Black is the original and the only absolute state of existence. Any and everything else that exists comes out of black. And that's absolute science. That's what we're going to deal with. Let's get back to the basis of it. Black man and black woman. We got to love each other. Love each other in spite of our struggles. You love each other. Love one another. Support one another. This is what we gotta do. We talk about revolution. Let's do those things, right? That's revolutionary in and of themselves. Marry a black man. Marry a black woman. But not just any black man or any black woman. Marry a black man and a black woman that's trying to do the same things in terms of push black people forward. Get together. Work it out. And stay together. Develop your love and struggle. Educate black children. That's revolutionary. Educate black children. Don't tell yourself, I can't educate my child because I only went to the 10th grade or the 12th grade. Don't tell yourself that. Educate black children. And most importantly, be African. Be African. That's who we are. That's exactly who we are. We are African people in the United States of America, and we come from different parts of Africa, the continent, and because of that, we are a composite of our ancestors. We are the cream of the crop, man. We're at the top, man. Just because we was, because we was put through the processes we was put through in this land, we are who we are. We can't deny that. We must embrace it. Embrace the beauty of that. There's no, there is no African that have ever existed like us. Like we're the first of us. We are the first of us. We're the best. Right? Look at how we impact and influence the world. Like us in the USA. And we got black people all throughout the world. But look at how we impact the world. In terms of, you name it, man, we are shaking the world up. We just don't realize it. Our brothers and sisters throughout the world, they know who we are. And it's okay. And they know who we are. And they look to us for direction and guidance. They look to us. Let's embrace that black man and black woman. As always, I got to give it up. I'm learning this process. I'm going to remind you, man, please share. Please share this. Click like on it. Follow my sister, my comrade, Dr. Ma'at. You know, she and I talked about this little process for a minute, and she walked me through some things. So it's all new to me, you know. But and just watching how she do what she do, I figured I would just give it a shot, bring this message. But in order for this message, we want this message here. If you like this message that I'm bringing, if you like the way that I bring my message, then let's get this message to the rest of the world. Like, you do your part where you at. You share this message. You share this message you like. You send people to this channel so they can come check this message. And we're going to grow this message. We're going to grow this platform. We're going to get some real work done. Because it's race first all day, every day. Race first is the way forward. It's the way forward. So I didn't want to stay too long tonight. Any questions out there before I get up out of here and let you people go? But just know we're going to do this. My plan is to do it once a week. I'm just trying to figure out what day I want to do it on and what time I want to do it on, so I can be consistent with my day and time. So I can come back, you know, with the brutal truth on the School of Urban Philosophy channel. Any questions, black man and black woman? Where you at? See a lot of Ashes, Asheo, on point. Okay. All right. So what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna close out. Let y'all get out of here. Peace and blessings. Race first. Bibi Fahodier. And I want to thank all of you who did join in. But as, like I say, please share the video, share the channel, and like and subscribe to the channel. I need your subscription. Please subscribe to the channel. Bibi Fahodier and Race First.